Shalom. First, I want to start by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone from who I learned this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 elect. I am Mayak Allah. I'm bringing to you part 9 of the series that we've been doing on How Do I Know? How do I know that I am a Hebrew Israelite? Or how do we know that we are the Hebrew Israelites? And when I say we, I'm referring to the so-called blacks, Latinos, and the natives of this land that you call America. I'm going to start right about where we finished off on the last part. Where we were at Genesis chapter 29 and right about verse 12. And I'm going to reread Genesis 29 and 12. And it says, "And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother, and that he was Rebekah's son. And she ran and told her father." Now this is where Jacob had gone to his uncle, who was Laban, because he had to flee because Esau was seeking to kill him after his father's death. So Rebekah told him that she wanted him to not marry a Canaanite woman, and that she wanted him to go back and select a wife from his kinfolk. So this is on his, after he has arrived at his uncle's house, or his uncle's Laban's dwelling. And I'm going to start right around 15. We're going to just cover some of this chapter. Well, we'll cover all this chapter 29. I won't read all of it. I'm going to drop down to 15. It says, "And Laban said unto Jacob, Because thou art my brother, shouldest thou therefore serve me for naught? Tell me, what shall be thy wages?" So Jacob has agreed to work for Laban. And Laban wants to be able to give him a payment. He doesn't want him to work for free. Verse 16, "And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. And Jacob loved Rachel, and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter. And Laban said, It is better that I give her to thee, than I should give her to another man. Abide with me. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days, for the love he had to her." This is verse 21. "And Jacob said unto Laban, Give me thy wife. Give thee my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her." So Jacob has served the 7 years, and he wants his payment, and his payment was to be Rachel. And when he says he wants to go in unto her, he wants to marry her. It says, "And Laban gathered together all the men of the place, and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah his daughter, and brought her to him, and he went in unto her." Now see, he was thinking that he was going with Rachel, but with it being dark in their tent, he wasn't able to tell that Laban, instead of giving him Rachel, he gave him Leah. Verse 24, "And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah his maid for handmaids. So Laban also gave one of his handmaids, or gave one of his maidens to his daughter Leah as a handmaid. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, what is this thou hast done unto me? Did I not serve thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? And I just want to look up that word beguiled. And it is H in the Hebrew 7411. And I'll give you the pronunciation of it.
Ramah.
Let you hear it again.
Strong's H 7411. Ramah. Ramah.
And I'll give you the definition. It says to beguile, deceive, mislead, or deal treacherously. So instead of giving Jacob Rachel as he thought he was who he worked for 7 years, Laban beguiled him, tricked him, and gave him Leah. Verse 26, and it says, and Laban said, it must not be so done in our country to give the younger before the firstborn. So Leah was the firstborn daughter, and she was to be, and according to Laban in his culture, the firstborn daughter has to be married off first. Verse 27, it says, fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 other years. And Jacob did so, and fulfilled her week, and he gave him Rachel his daughter to wife also. So we see here that Jacob not only worked 7 years for Leah, but he worked also 7 years for Rachel, and he was given Rachel also. And Laban gave to Rachel his daughter Bilhah, his handmaid, to be her maid. So also Rachel was given a handmaid. And it's verses 30. It says, and he went in also unto Rachel, and he loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet 7 other years. So we see here that Rachel was the one that Jacob loved more, because that was the one that he fell in love with as soon as he saw her. Verse 31, and when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. We're going to look up that word barren. And it is H6135, and I'll give you the pronunciation.
Strong's H6135. Akkad.
All right, and it just simply means barren or sterile. So she was not able to have children. And it kind of reminds you of the wife of Abraham, Sarah. So I'm going to go on to verse 32. And in these next, I'll read these next 4 verses, and we'll see that Leah, being able to have children, for the Lord opened her womb, and we'll see the children. These are going to be the progenitors, or the offspring of Jacob. They'll be the progenitors of the 12 tribes. Now, we're not going to go through all 12 on this lesson. We're going to go through first the first 4 children that Leah produced, that Leah brought forth for Jacob. In verse 32, it says, "And Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben. For she said, Surely the Lord Yahweh hath looked upon my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me." Now Leah, because she had given Jacob a son, she was hoping to win Jacob by being able to bring forth a son for him. Verse 33. "And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, Because the Lord Yahweh hath heard that I was hated, he hath therefore given me this son also. And she called his name Simeon." Verse 34. "And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, Now this time will my husband be joined unto me, because I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore was his name called Levi. And she conceived again and bare a son. And she said, Now I will praise the Lord Yahweh. Therefore she called his name Judah, and left bearing." Now we're going to take a look at each of their names, and I'm going to give you the pronunciation of their names in the Paleo Hebrew, in the Lashawan Kodesh, which is the holy language. We're going to go over to Genesis chapter 49. And like I said, we won't go through all of these, but we're going to go through the names of these first 4. These are the children that were brought forth by Leah. And this is Genesis chapter 29, verse 1. "And Jacob called to his sons and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Gather yourselves together, and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father." Now Jacob's name had been changed to Israel. And just because I did skip to chapter 49, we're going to go back and go over that account also. But I just wanted to bring forth the names and some of and their meanings and the Hebrew pronunciations, and then we'll be able to, Lord willing, go back, because that, I believe, is in chapter 32 of Genesis. But like I said, we're going to go through it. We may not go through every chapter, but we're going to walk our way through this and find out how I know, or how we know, that we are the Hebrew Israelites. So I'm going to go to the first son being Reuben. And the pronunciation of his name in the in the Hebrew is Ra'aban. This is Genesis 49:3. It says, Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity and the excellency of power. It says, unstable as water thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defilest thou it. He went up to my couch. So what is being talked about here is that Reuben defiled his father's bed by sleeping or having sex with one of his father's concubines. And let's go over to Genesis 35:22 and read that, and then we'll come back. I'm going to start at 21. It says, this is Genesis 35:21. It says, and Israel, which is Jacob, journeyed and spread his tent beyond the tower of Edar. And it came to pass, when Israel dwelt in the land, that Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Israel heard it. Now the sons of Jacob were 12, so he's going to have 12 sons, and these are the progenitors of the tribes of 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. So I just wanted to give you a little explanation as to how he defiled his father's bed. We're going to go back over to Genesis 49 and get the names of the remaining 3 sons. And we're going to drop down to verse 5. It says, Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations. Simeon would be pronounced Shamawan in the Hebrew. And it means affliction heard. And I'm going to go back to Ra'aban, which is Reuben, and give you the meaning of it. It means, see, it's a son. That was his firstborn. Now she had given him Simeon and Levi. I'm going to give you Levi's name in the Hebrew. And it is Loya, which means joined to me. And I'm going to go to Genesis 49, verse 6. It says, O my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly. Mine honor be not thou united. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a wall. Now we haven't covered this one. We haven't covered that explanation as to what happened, how they slew a man, but we'll go into that in the coming chapters. Like I said, we just jumped over to 49 just so I can give you the names and a little bit more of the meaning. Now she also gave him the son Judah, which in the Hebrew is pronounced Yahawada, and it means Yahweh thanks. And I'm going to read verse 8. It says, Judah, thou art he who thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. It says, Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he couched as a lion, and as an old lion. Who shall rouse him up? Now, Lord willing, in the next lesson, we'll be able to go a little bit deeper into their names and see what lands they are in today. And then we'll be able to go further on into after chapter 29 and go, just so we're not skipping anything, we'll be able to go on to see how the other sons came to be. But for now, I'm going to leave it off there, with us just being introduced to the first 4 sons which Leah had given Jacob. And I pray that this has been edifying. I pray that I didn't jump around too much where it was confusing. But as I said, we'll go back and go over those names some more, Lord willing, in the next lesson. But now I'm going to stop. I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah HaKadosh, Shalom.